Testing, testing. Mic check. 1, 2. 1, 2. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the den. I'm glad that you could join me this evening. All of you wonderful, amazing, special people. I hope that, life is treating you well. Give me just one moment, actually. Don't pay me too much of my nights. I'll still be here. I'm just going to hop off the screen for about 30 seconds. But if you're not familiar with the den is the best conversation on the internet. And you may say, well, Mr. Honcho, sir, I think you're being biased. Why do you think the den is the best conversation on the entire internet, right? Well, because of all the amazing special den folk that come through each and every evening. All right, fix that. Cool. And, make this conversation what it is. So I appreciate y'all for being here. I thank y'all for being here. And I just want y'all to know I do not take y'all for granted. Y'all could be anywhere in the world. And for some reason, y'all in here chopping it over some random nigga on the internet. But anyway, so, again. Oh, you know what? Oh, I want to make sure that the right stuff is going on here. All right. Sorry about that. I'm going to make sure we on the right dilly-dally here. Hold on one second. All right. Oh, sorry about that. Had to catch it up for some reason. Something was acting a little janky there. So I apologize if it was acting crazy there. Now, let's see what we got joining us this evening. And then let's get into some good conversation. And then, like I say, we're going to talk about gender wars tonight. Are there gender wars? Are men and women not getting along? Is it getting worse? What is the problem? Is it a black thing? Because it's super funny when I was getting some tags, keywords, or whatever for the term gender wars. Like 3 things related to the term gender wars popped up, and then like 20 fucking tags involving the term black women popped up after it. And so I'm just like, really? Is it really that bad? So we're going to talk about it. But again, like I said, let's see who we got joining us. And then let's get into some great conversation. So, K Grace, what's the motherfucking deal? Ma'am, how are you this evening? John from New York, my favorite New Yorker. Cultured, aka the Don of the Discord. What's the motherfucking deal? Miss Bell, hope all is well. Let's see. Heidi. Hello. Heidi. D the Gamma, what's the motherfucking deal? How are you this evening, ma'am? I don't know what IG is, Heidi. You have to explain that to me. The lovely Miss Jess Sarah, how are you, ma'am? Infinity. Oh, wow. I'm learning English now. Infinity, the former pimp, right? Yes. Let's see. Your pimp business. That's why you're a former pimp, and I see. Professor Trio, what's the motherfucking deal? Eastside, what's the motherfucking deal? Man, I know Eastside. This is true, right? This is a true thing that you're speaking of, and we're gonna talk about that. Hold on. All right. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm learning English. ESL definitely. So there's that. First, I want to say shout out to all of you. If you remember, then you should have seen the little post of the behind the scenes of the Saw Sports / Den Show / Honcho Studios. Yeah, so shout out to all of you who shared your thoughts on that. And again, I just want to let y'all know I appreciate y'all. I was looking through some old pictures, man, and I got a couple of photos. I think I have photos of almost every setup or the setups I've had. A couple of them I didn't, especially when I started out. So when I started out, I was using a laptop. So, but I found a picture, kind of a POV of my setup then, and it was terrible, right? But we grow, we learn, and we grow, we improve. We learn a lot of new things, and I just want to say, man, thank y'all for making it, worthwhile to do these things and discover a lot of shit I did not know prior to fucking with YouTube. Yeah, no pole. Well, the pole's gonna be in the garage, right? You know, I don't want any. But we're not gonna get into that. Savage Donald Trump, what's the motherfucking deal? So let's talk about it. Who is you, Heidi? You pushed black women to the bottom of the totem pole. I didn't do it. I kindly placed them on the top of the totem pole, and I set them down there gently like a porcelain cat or Fabergé egg. But let's talk about it, man. Gender war. Again, y'all know, y'all know that. What? How do them bitches love that music? What the fuck you talking about? But my thing is there a gender war? Is there beef between men and women? Is it more of a racial beef? Is it more black men and women? Are other races standing more in solidarity? Is it feminism that is fucking up the game? Is it, MGTOW, men ain't playing that shit no more. They've been red pilled and they ain't fucking with it no more, and they're tired of women's shit. What is going on? Is there more information? Are we so connected now that we're seeing experiences for what they are, people for what they are, more than we did maybe in previous times? Country songs. What? I was gonna say something, and well, country music is depressing. Yeah, country music. You take what's that shit? Lexapro or some shit like that. But here's my thing, right? Here's what you got to realize: country music and rap music are the exact same thing. It's just like country music is just Will Smith rap music. It's the same shit. What do they talk about? Women getting fucked up and fucking partying for the most part of their vehicles. Country, I'm talking about my truck and it's jacked up. I got my fucking 4x4 and I'm going mudding, goddammit. Rap, my shit dropped down. I'm sitting on fucking 24s, depending on where you at, or you might be swinging on foes if you're down here in the city. It's a little bit different. Or pokers or swangers, whatever you want to call them. You're talking about your women. Maybe the terminology may be a little bit different as to how the women are verbally described, but I'm still talking about women. Want to fuck with them, more or less. I think rap music just provides a little bit more of the graphic details of some of the interactions. Getting fucked up. A lot of country songs about getting blackout drunk, and a lot of country songs about smoking weed. I actually did not really realize that until a couple of years back. A friend of mine, there's a fucking bunch of country singers singing about reefer. They're talking about the drinking, the reefer, and the rap musics. It's the same shit. It's basically the same shit. So, cornbread and chicken? I don't think I've ever even heard that. I would like to hear it, I heard Big Meech was a big fan. Again, hence Old Town Road, right? Reefer and Beer by Devin the Dude is a country classic. You know what I'm saying? Leonard Skinner constantly. I love Leonard Skinner music. And that may be odd to some people, but I guess I don't really care about some of that shit. But anyway, get back to gender wars. See, which I don't realize has happened is an example of the gender wars. Heidi is an agent for the women's team, right? So she just infiltrated the argument and sent it askew because she doesn't want me to expose the women for who and what they are. You feel me? That's what it is. That's what it is. You know, because she knows I'm going to tell the truth. Wow, I forgot about country rap tunes. Professor Trill, that was a classic. But back to the gender war. But like I said, it seems like there's beef, you know. And I think, like I said, you know, there's so much going on. Like I really do. Aside from Heidi, I'm halfway joking about her being an agent, but like I think you have people in these groups. Again, everywhere, every group gets infiltrated, right? With ulterior motives, and it may sound like they're telling you to do one thing, but in reality, it's encouraging alternative behaviors, right? And so it's just like, I'm wondering what's really going on. Hello, Miss Meat, Angela. Speaking of gender wars, how are you this evening? How are things in and around the city of Atlanta? I hope all is well. So my thing is this, right? Now, two things. It's a secret I've said on a couple episodes, so y'all may or may not have missed it. But I'm a black guy in America. I had to give y'all a few seconds to recover from that. So I like to delve into the black Twitters, right? It's like the best, worst place on earth. Like everything you could want is in the black Twitter sphere. Stupid people to laugh and point fingers at. Thought-provoking, intellectual ideas. Very, very bad music, but somehow it's catchy and entertaining. Ratchetness knows no bounds within the walls of Black Twitter. But the thing that I've noticed the most in Black Twitter is that there is beef between black men and black women. But like I say, I don't know if it's just a black thing. I'll be honest, like I don't pay a lot of attention to what is going on in other cultures. So I don't know if white people are fighting each other, you know, I don't know if Hispanic people are fighting. Now, Hispanic women aren't allowed to talk. They look, that machismo is some real shit. But, you know, so I don't know what's going on, but I do know what I see. And it's concerning, especially in the black community, because again, like I say, you know, as far as family structure, it's trash, right? It's it's a failing grade. It's very bad, you know. And so this cannot be good. It can only further, you know, increase the problem. And I feel like, you know, the black family, the deterioration of the black family is probably single-handedly the biggest problem in the black American community. So, but like I say, you have all this stuff. So if men and women are beefing, well, then, you know, families are not existing or they're not lasting. Again, then you're talking about more broken homes. You're talking about, you know, more children living in poverty, you know, struggling, you know, going back and forth house to house, being indoctrinated with beliefs about, you know, the other parent, and then that going on to be like a belief that's instilled in them, that they start to think about people. So you got a lot of angry moms out there for whatever the reason, whether it's, you know, their fault or not. And, you know, they'll say all kind of shit about the daddy or the men to these children. And, you know, well, Little girls grow up thinking men ain't shit but a fucking, wallet. And, little niggas don't want to be men because their mama's sitting there fucking badmouthing everything that is a man. And they love their mom, of course, right? And so they don't want to be men anymore. They start acting all feminine and shit. So, to me, this is a huge problem. I mean, it's big. Like, and then you say, well, it's just social media, right? It's just Twitter. Twitter's a weird place. It is, for the most part. But for some reason, I don't know why. Everything else, it's a microcosm echo chamber. People just say whatever they want to on Twitter, of course. Depending on where you're at, you're going to see, read, hear certain things. But this specific topic seems to be problematic. It seems to be kind of a real issue. And especially within the black community, you can talk about, the little nuances and stupid shit. Like when you talk about colorism. It was something I was reading the other day. A man was talking about, he didn't like dark women. Like, which I think is a weird thing, right? And so then, that started a whole argument. Then you have, women who kind of, we have the whole height thing, you have the whole, there's a lot of factors, right? Especially with women who probably don't have the most options in the world. But anyway, was that Pat Patterson? I forgot. Was it Pat Patterson? P-Pat? That was P-Pat that is definitely a fan of UGA. Oh, fucking A. Oh, wow. I almost did a very bad thing there. Just definitely pay attention to what I'm doing. So, again, like I say, it's just, to me, I think it's a very big problem. Gender wars is a problem. So what I want to talk about tonight is, do you believe that it's an issue? Is this a cultural thing? Is this, again, like I just say, another one of the things that is, another one of the problems that, the black community is facing, that needs to be resolved? And again, there's a lot of shit to talk. I mean, anyway, so I want to know your thoughts on that. I want to know, depending on who you may be, but depending on whether you're a man or a woman, or I don't know if anything or anybody who identifies as anything else who listens to the Den, but I want to know your thought. What is the biggest problem, or what is your personal biggest issue that you've had when dealing with the opposite sex? That is probably going to be the main. That'll be the main question I'll be asking. So I want to know what your biggest issue is when dealing with the opposite sex, and do you believe that there are gender wars? So now, after I have ranted, rambled, raved about a whole bunch of nothing, let it. No comment, but I agree. Heidi, you don't have an office. Stop the nonsense. Let's see. This is going to be a very interesting evening. The fuck, Honcho? You already fucking ahead of yourself, stupid ass. Like when I actually have things in order, I'm still not prepared because I didn't realize I had shit in order already. Right? That's the thing. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the Den this evening?
It's Belle. I want to get mine in early.
Give me 1 second. Let's turn my volume up. I guess that helps so I can hear. All right. There. Who do we have calling into the Den this evening?
I'm sorry, what did you say? I'm trying to get my volume down here.
Okay. No, I have a volume. I'm saying, who do we have calling into the Den this evening?
It's Belle.
All right, Miss Belle. How are you this evening, Miss Belle?
I'm doing well.
Good, good. So Miss Bell, what is your single biggest issue when dealing with the opposite sex?
I'd have to say communication.
And what about
And
communication?
what I mean by that is sometimes, not all the time, men tend to jump to conclusions, or they have something set in their head and they forget to tell the female that they're with or the partner that they're with what's going on. And because they've set it in their head and they're a man, they expect that to be the follow-through. And that's a real big communication issue.
Interesting.
It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means that sometimes when, especially being head of the house and if you've got a job that you're, constantly making decisions at, but if you don't involve your partner and you go ahead and make a unilateral decision for both people, that's a huge communication issue.
Okay.
I mean, it happens both sides. However, since I'm female, I'm taking the side of it tonight.
Okay. So do you feel like there is a gender war going on in America right now?
I think there's always been a gender war. I think that people don't get paid appropriately for the jobs that they can actually do. As far as whether it's male to female, whether it's black to white, I don't think any of the jobs have been paid appropriately. Working in nursing, I know that the men always got paid $2 to $3 more because they could lift the patients, and sometimes the females couldn't. Now, is that fair when some of us were more degrees than there? No, it's not. But it happens, even in a predominantly women-driven career. Now it's changed over, but when I was in the beginning courses of it, it was primarily female. And there are some women that can do a badass job and be welders and different things that don't take weight or body mechanics into doing a job, like accounting or lawyer or different things like that. Those should be same pay for either male or female gender. The only thing that actually should come with anything more is the experience that goes behind those jobs.
So I have a question.
Sure.
So you mentioned like nursing. So like when it comes to having to like move patients and things like that, are the male nurses are they sought out for that more often, or is it just kind of whoever is around to move the patient?
No, actually, it's just a lot of times it's just because they've applied, they've gone to school or whatever. When they come in, their paycheck starts out higher than women's because there's an automatic assumption because they are male, they can lift the patients easier or deal with rolling them over or transporting them or whatever. And that's not always the case. I've worked with more females in the nursing field than I ever did males. And we had to make the adjustments for having how many ever we had on the floor.
Okay.
But on the same note, I mean, there are some jobs that I can't think of one at the moment, but there are fine handcrafts that men sometimes have a harder time doing than women. It doesn't mean to say that some can't. So should we pay women more for all right, we'll say using sewing machines. It's not always a good example, but it's predominantly, again, a female profession. I know a lot of men who know how to sew because they come from the upholstery end by using leather, and they get paid more.
I think Professor Trill's actually a well-known seamstress. So
That's pretty cool. You're just screwing with me, huh?
he's familiar with the craft. But Okay, so you feel like that there's the wage gap is part of the problem in the gender war. So do you think that that leads women to feel a certain type of way towards men?
Absolutely. I mean, back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, even before that, it was predominantly the men brought home the bacon and the women fried it up in the pan. Now, the reality of what was going on then were there were divorced couples, there were single families, there were, widows or widowers, but they primarily gave the men the better salary for the fact that he was, quote-unquote, a family man. And if a woman came in, she was only there just to, get ends meet or just to get the extras, quote-unquote, during those time periods. Today, we need 2 full-time paychecks from 2 people in order to really survive pretty well. Now, there are some families that one person might make more than another, but the average middle class, you need 2 incomes in order to make it. And so if you're both doing the same job with the same experience, you ought to get the same pay rate.
Okay. So how do we resolve that? I mean, so should there be some form of legal intervention required to, ensure that people get paid the same?
I know that when you go to the Department of Labor, there is a certain value about how much a particular job for a particular thing is per hour or salary or whatever. You can go look it up, what it's supposed to be, the range it's supposed to be in. Now, the thing is that's still up to the employer at what their discretion is. But the fact is that if you're looking at 2 paychecks and they both hired within 2 weeks of each other and have the same amount of experience, that's not cool to have 2 different paychecks. I mean, wages levels.
So as an employer, if you could get away with paying someone less for doing the same job,
they're going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it may not be ethical, but I think, that they're going to do it. But I think the thing is, too, that, they say most people don't negotiate for their salaries. And then you also have a situation where, in general, women are a lot less confrontational than men. So I think in situations like that, and I'm not saying every man is going in there negotiating his salary, but I think in situations like that, and if you know that you have the same, experience level and skill set, I think people need to get more adamant about, arguing for themselves and knowing their value.
I absolutely agree with you. And you're right. I think that women just say, all right, that's the salary is, that's what I'm going to take. And if a man knows his worth, and actually if a woman knows her worth, they tend to fight more for what they think that the value of their salary should be. However, most people walking into a job, sometimes they just need a job to get started. And so they're willing to take whatever is given to them as far as the salary goes. You're right. Negotiations should happen. But I've also learned, too, from living in different parts of the country, you can be making minimum wage in one place and making premium in another, depending on what the need is.
Correct.
So it's also about knowing what your value is when you walk into a company, whether you're male or female. Or know your worth.
Yes, I agree. I think that is very important to know your worth these days, and I don't think a lot of people recognize that. Okay.
So, like I said, I do see the financial difference between in the employment areas, and it's gotten closer, but it's not dollar for dollar. And one of the biggest reasons it's not dollar for dollar is because it's individual about experience when it gets to some points.
I agree. Like I said, I think there's just the wage gap thing to me is very interesting because I think there's so many variables that go into it, and I think again, who are you interviewing? What type of companies, and like you said, there's averages and things like that. That's a very complex topic for me.
Just to use a kind of an unrealistic but a pretty accurate situation is the male Hollywood stars compared to the female Hollywood stars, what their pay scales start out in are completely different. Women start out probably 40% less than most male stars, and they may be just as much of a draw.
But would you say that women generally make different movies than men, though?
I think a lot of that comes down to experience. If you've got somebody who's been in male or female 20 years and they've done X amount of films and they're pretty much level on the same, that's also going to be dependent on what the project's going to pay. But the fact is they're always willing to pay an A male star more than a female star. I just was watching an interview with How to Get Away with Murder. I can't think of the name of the star. And she was talking about the fact that she's been called the Black Meryl Streep, but she doesn't get the same pay reflection when she's got the same amount of experience and the same amount of time dedicated to her craft. You know, they talk a good talk, but when the paychecks come out, it's never as much as the other stars. And so,
and again, like I say, in Hollywood is even more weird to me, because that's when I think you got to start really looking at the other side of it, and it's like, okay, as an actor, like it almost goes back to like that Monique thing we talked about a while back. When she was upset, she's been in work, she's been doing comedy for decades, you know. Amy Schumer gets on Netflix, gets a bunch of money, Dave Chappelle gets a bunch of money. They offer her like, it was like $500 million or something, so she's mad about it. Well, she has the experience and all the other stuff, but are you a draw? Because again, in the end, it's a business. It's about making the money. So it's like, yeah, I can give you just as much as I gave Dave Chappelle. Well, like $60 million. Let's give Monique $60 million. She's been in the game as long as Dave, if not longer. Now, we're probably going to lose $59.8 million because nobody's checking for Monique like that. Even though the experience may be the same, the work may be the same in the industry, but then you have to look at the projects individually. Like Monique definitely pigeonholed herself a lot, and this is not to bash on Monique, but I think a lot of actors and actresses do it, especially like say if you're talking about in the black demographics, like you have certain motherfuckers that you know, hey, that's a Tyler Perry actor, it's a Tyler Perry movie, you already know what the shit's going to be, and it's a lot of doing the same shit, so they get pigeonholed, and then you know when you want to branch out or do something different, nobody believes in you because you've only done that one thing.
But I'm talking about like a Viola Davis who really has done some astronomically great roles and really stretched herself as an actress. She really is that good.
Now, you say Viola Davis or The Rock, right? And I don't think you would put them in the same acting caliber, right? But if you say, hey, there's a new Viola Davis movie coming out and there's a new movie starring The Rock coming out, which do you think the majority of people are going to go see? If you told them nothing else about it but just the stars who are going to be in the movie.
Yeah, so it's the draw. It's not just the experience. It's also who's going to be able to draw the big bucks for the box office.
Yeah, and that's the Hollywood thing. That's what I think about that. Because they're going to look at action stars, and things like that. Your people are going to buy more into a male role than a female role. Like even with what was it that Charlie's Angels they just redid didn't do very well. I'm trying to think some other female-led action movies, but some of them do well. But I think, as the most part, when they push that as the main idea, hey, action movie with a woman, then it doesn't do it. But if they just, focus more on the story, and I think things like that, those tend to do better. But I think it's more of the person and what they draw than experience or, whatever. Because, it could be a social media star who's just blowing up. If they know that it's going to get attention, they definitely pay them more than somebody who's been in the game 20 years that nobody remembers. So
True.
That's kind of how I look at that.
So what we're saying is Hollywood is nothing but financially an algebraic equation in order to get what the pay rate is.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about it. It's what can you do for me so I can amplify my money. And so again, I think it's just what have you done for me lately? And so I think that's kind of where we are on that.
But we're still talking about like the American chefs working in a kitchen. If you've got the same culinary experience, whether it's in school or on the line or whatever, then the pay should be the same. You know, if you pay a fry cook, that's the base rate, then they should be equal if they're male or female. You know, why do certain jobs like that always, it seems to me as though men always seem to get paid just a bit more.
I mean, and I think when you look at it like on the surface level, that it can appear that way. But I think it's just like I say, you really have to, what is the saying, the devil's in the details. And I think when you come, like, it's so hard to really compare, you know, those situations, because you could say, hey, you're a line cook at fucking, or you're a chef at fucking, I don't know, I'm just trying to compare Chili's compared to fucking, I don't know, Ruth Chris or some shit. You know what I mean? You're both chefs. I mean, so in name, we're comparing the same job title, but you know, one is a classier place, one is in and out or whatever you want to call it. And so, are we comparing those? Are we talking about it at all of the same chain all across the country? Are we comparing, like, I think that there's so many variables. We're talking state to state. You know, we're talking about minimum wage and all these other things.
Experience. That variable comes under experience. You've got somebody that might have come up right from the line all the way up to being sous chef. Then you might have another person that came in from culinary school and stepped right on the line. So it depends on the experience and the education and the balance between. But if it's set that you're a line person and you're a sous chef and it's, you know, $20 an hour, it should be $20 an hour for either male or female. Now, based on your experience, that may have some fluctuation, and that would be right to do if somebody, either male or female, had more experience. But that's the only reason to give more, not because they're male. And I'm not angry about it. I just see it so often, and especially customer service industry, where the women are primarily on the front line and men are in the kitchen or in the background, depending on what it is. Because restaurants aren't the only things. You're talking about bartenders. You know, you're talking about all kinds of different things.
You think male bartenders make more than female bartenders?
I think attractive male bartenders and attractive female bartenders make more than anybody else. It is about on the surface as a bartender. And if you can make a damn good drink, because you know that person will come back. However, a pretty face, either male or female, will get you a better tip anytime.
Okay. Yeah, that hadn't shown enough cleavage.
Well, you know, hey, you know, the men wear the bow ties and the women go drooling, so it's all in what the packaging is for that particular job. There is definitely some shallowness to it, even though you've got to be able to hold the drink and pour one. So that's kind of about all I've got. I really try hard not to get into the male-female wars. As a widow, I've had to pick up both sides of the fence of what the husband would do and what the wife do. I prefer not having to take the trash out, but you do what you got to do, you know, and my husband didn't mind cooking once in a while. So I think in natural life, for me, there are things that I know he can do because he was tall, he could reach the top shelf. And I was short, so I got the stuff on the floor. And you kind of work your relationship into what your strengths and what your weaknesses are with each other. But as far as real problems, I think one of the biggest things that I don't care for is the cat call.
Why not?
I think it really marginalizes women as being a less than.
You don't see it as a form of maybe attention, of compliment?
how do I say this? Men can be pigs.
How so?
For the fact that they objectify women at times. It's a sexual attention, not an appropriate attention. It doesn't mean it's not nice to hear. It just means that it's not always wanted or warranted. You know, it's a catch-22. If I say I like it, then I'm being shallow and objectified. If I refuse it, then I'm being a feminist and I'm, over-dramatic. So there's no real win with an answer there. I just personally don't care for it.
Do you think there are women out there who wish that they got catcalls?
Oh, I have. It's been I can't tell you how many years, but yeah, it happened. It felt good when it happened, but I also didn't appreciate being objectified by it either. The guy was a real creep.
Okay. I don't think I have any other further questions. Anything else that you would like to add, Ms. Bell?
Nah, I'm good. Just want to say, hey, I've been listening to Miss Meat's stream. It's pretty good. You guys got to listen to it. You don't have to, but I'm throwing a shout out.
Sit down. No shout outs for Miss Angela. She's in there angry, talking trash in the chat. I don't know what she's bad about. But
Hey,
I'm about
girls
to drive
got
to
to stick
Atlanta.
together, though, too, Now, what's the run for the rest of the week? Because as of, Friday night is, we're going into holiday weekend.
Is there a holiday? I mean, it seems like
4th of July.
But it seems like everything's shut down. I mean, is there anything really happening? I mean, I'll definitely be in the den. We'll have dens all through Friday. Like I said, I have all the stuff set up. I'm just putting them up on the day of, just to make sure that the notifications hopefully go out, because apparently they didn't go out till late tonight too. But
you don't want to hold to that, right?
Yeah, it's all good. Like I said, I got everything. I got 2 weeks of stuff sectioned off and folded up already. So, like I said, I know we'll be talking about. Unless something just crazy happens, then we'll change the topic. But like I said, Friday. Like I said, the Friday stream will be a debate stream, and then, like I say, after that, we'll get in the Discord and do some karaoke. I'm gonna figure out what night we're gonna do a movie night one of these evenings, a Discord movie night. We'll figure that out. But yeah, for right now, that's the plan. I don't know about Saturday. I don't. Maybe we might do something. Like I say, it's a holiday, and if ain't nothing shaking, then we might have a stream. I'll see.
That sounds good. Okay, 2 sidebars. One, I don't know how many of y'all are having 4th of July fireworks, but most of the cities have canceled their fireworks. Yep.
Yeah, they've been popping fireworks since Juneteenth.
Yeah. Well, there's just some things that still, anyway. First time in 45 years they're not doing the fireworks in my town, so I'm a little bummed. And the other thing is Atlantic City, as it opens up, there's no drinking, no smoking, and no food in any of the casinos.
Oh, well, that's
interesting.
That's terrible. What's the point of going gambling then? Oh, my God.
It's interesting. Anyway, and I know there's something else, but I'll figure that out and put it up in the chat. All right. So y'all have a good night, and I can't wait to hear the rest of the calls.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Miss Bell, the class is in session. The bell has rung. I appreciate you getting the party started this evening.
Absolutely. All right. Good night.
You have a good night. God damn it, culture. What's the motherfucking deal do we have?
Hello?
Who we have called into the den this evening?
Hello?
Yes, 10-4. Hello?
Good evening. Good evening. Yes, hello.
Good evening to you. How are you this evening, sir?
¿Qué?
Oh, this channel's going to be canceled in the morning. Mr. John, how you doing this evening, sir?
First I just want to say hi, Honcho. How are you? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay. Secondly, before we get into the topic, because it's a good one, I would just like to say free Terry Crews. Leave that man alone. He is just speaking words from the gospel. They're just saying everybody needs to work together, to come together, to be together, to stay together. No white supremacy, no black supremacy. The man is speaking logically. The man is speaking passionately. He's speaking fairly. Leave him the fuck alone. Okay? The man works for a living. He's married to his wife. He takes care of his kids. He makes good money. You don't ever see him getting in trouble in the streets with the law. No drug addictions. Leave the man alone. Okay? I will trade. Who does the black delegation want from the white side?
I mean, what are you willing to offer? Because I mean, Terry Crews is definitely on the trade block.
Oh, I don't want to give up Ted Cruz. If there's anybody else you want besides Ted Cruz, the white people will happily take Terry Crews. He is an asset. He is an ally and an asset.
I mean, yeah, you guys got to keep Ted Cruz. Every time Ted Cruz shows up to a fucking Rockets game, they fucking lose big game. So we don't want Ted Cruz.
Matter of fact, I want to do a three-team trade. I want Cam Newton and Terry Crews and Dr. Ben Carson. I'm going for it all.
No, wait just a goddamn minute. Dr. Ben Carson's a national treasure. He's not going to go. So look, Cam, you can have him. You can have the whole collection of Whitney Houston hats, sweaters, and outfits. And Terry Crews, yeah, he's definitely on the trading block. Not for his actions today. Terry Crews has been on the trading block for a long time. He's just ever since the incident, the little Hollywood situation that he hashtag men-tooed, that he talked about. I got nothing for Terry Crews. I mean, I
will trade you for those three guys. I will trade you Charlie Sheen.
What?
Robert Downey Jr. and the ghost of Drazen Petrovic.
This is an illegal trade. Because if we take Charlie Sheen
over the cap limit,
yeah, it's an automatic infection. It's a bad deal. Charlie Sheen's not going to pass the physical, so we're going to have we're gonna have to send that one back. No, it's terrible stuff. This is terrible stuff that's happening. But my thing is, like, Terry, I get what he's saying. I don't really care about that. I know everybody's mad about, whatever he's saying, cancel Terry Crews. My whole thing with Terry Crews was the fact you let some little Hollywood dude come grab your junk in front of your wife, and, that was that. I think, I understand in most situations, you're like, well, hey, what is he supposed there's, like, 99% of the time, you should always be civil. You should be reasonable. I'm not saying go
especially when it's an old shriveled up white Hollywood executive who cuts your check.
Yeah, but you really gotta you gotta make a statement. But here's my thing with Terry Crews. Even with all that, like, I think he's out there. I think he's with it. I think he told that story to make it look like something. But here's the thing, like, if you saw a Terry Crews randomly in the middle of the street, I don't care who you are, me, you, anybody, just a random Terry Crews looking motherfucker, you're not going to go up to him and just randomly fuck with him without expecting some form of issue. Now, it may or may not happen. Nobody.
But what if you, I hear you, but what if you're in a position where you have all that power and Terry's physical strength will only get him into trouble in that situation. And he kind of used that against him. Like, I see what you mean. Like, I agree with you. But I feel like in that position, he's, that executive knows I kind of got the upper hand on him. Like, what is he going to do? Punch me in the face? Say, yeah, it's going to hurt like hell. But Terry's smart enough to know he'll never work in Hollywood again.
I don't know. I think you even if you think that way, you still question. I think there's still, like, you got to realize there's always a potential for something. Like, I think you have to be comfortable enough and know enough about Terry Crews in Hollywood, and which is, I'm sure it's a very tight fraternity, no pun intended, but like, like there has to be enough going around being talked about to say that, that he feels that comfortable. Like, this is not somebody who just, I've never met the guy, I'm just going to walk up to him and do this. And again, without having some idea of questioning his sexuality or whatever the fuck is going on. Like, there had to be something that reassured whoever this was that this is green light. Like, he obviously must be with it or something. I think he's into some of the Holly weird shit. Like, that's just my personal opinion.
So you're saying that the plot twist here is Terry Crews grabbed the old white executive and blew it back out.
That's fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting.
Is that what you're alluding to? That he's down with the with that scene?
Terry is. I'm alluding that he's involved in some way. I'm not sure if he's pitching or catching. I don't know, but
Well, I will tell you what, Honcho. I'm not going to sit here and let you disparage the LGBTQIA plus community. My tray is still on the table. We still welcome Terry Crews with open arms.
I mean, I am more than willing. Wow, that is a hell of a tattoo to get. I'm more than willing to, like I say, put up a trade. We'll find a suitable candidate. I mean, like I said, I'm more than willing to trade. I mean, we'll trade him for future picks. If it's
all
necessary.
Right. Well, we'll do some behind the scenes talks between the agents and general managers. But what about tonight's topic? Do you want to go into first?
Do you feel like what is the biggest issue, in your opinion, with the opposite sex?
I will say that the biggest issue with the opposite sex is I think it's very similar through my man eyes. I'm going to speak on behalf of women. I'm going to mansplain for women and speak on behalf of men too. I think it's just a lot of the same things. The problem is going to be ego, selfishness, lack of communication, poor communication, stubbornness. Both sides can be cowardly at times, insecure. I think a lot of the same reasons can affect both men and women, and that could lead to an unhealthy relationship, which can give the illusion or the feeling of a gender war.
Okay. Do you feel like feminism has had any role in or had any impact on the modern family today?
Feminism?
Yes.
Yeah, I think feminism has made women more masculine and men more feminine. And I feel that a lot of women like a man to lead. They like a man to be masculine. A lot of men like a woman to be, I guess, the opposite of a leader is a follower, I guess. I'm sure there's a much nicer word to say. And they like a woman to be feminine and a follower, and then women like a man to be a leader and a provider and a protector. And I feel that a lot of men these days don't know how to change a car tire. They don't know how to fix anything around the house. They're not, they're more getting pretty, getting their eyebrows done more than a woman. They don't know how to take the lead. They don't know how to pay attention to what a woman likes and then implement that into his day-to-day life and lead with that instead of what do you want? I don't know. What do you want? You're supposed to know what she wants because you've been with the woman for a long time. The same thing for a woman. I had to edit myself. So, so my whole thing is, and the same thing with the other side. A man comes home from a fucking 8, 10, 12-hour fucking long work day. He appreciates a fucking nice dinner on the table, a nice warm dinner on the fucking table. You know what I mean? This thing, there's things that men, they always say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. There's truth to that. I think both sides have lost that in the pursuit of quote-unquote equality. Women like it when a man makes more money than them, but it's difficult for a man to make more money now because he has to compete with 160 million women in this country. So they're taking half the jobs. So, I mean, at the end of the day, society kind of fucked us both. The norms are changing. And I think that people are having a difficult time either adapting or they don't feel the change is natural. They think that, the powers that be are kind of like fucking us up on purpose. But I think at the end of the day, no matter what the situation is, if you truly love someone for who they are, and assuming neither of you two are crazy or just downright disrespectful, evil people, you can make it work.
I agree. I think,
and I know in the chat room earlier, they were talking about how black women get shitted on and this and that. And I will say, as someone who's dated plenty of black women in my life, it is not entirely true. There are lots of wonderful, awesome, caring, feminine, sensitive, nurturing black women. There's a ton of them that fit the exact stereotype that we all know what I'm talking about, but a lot of them are wonderful, great, awesome people. So, as far as the bad side of them, yeah, they deserve it just like anybody else deserves the bad side to be talked about, but I feel like they don't get enough upliftment. They don't get enough praise for what they do. They go through a lot of shit. In America, it's like we have police officers who wear uniforms, and then they get chastised as being all bad because a couple of cops are bad and shoot people, but we still praise the good cops. We send armed forces in a uniform overseas, and you know what? Sometimes you get a rogue soldier, you get a soldier who goes AWOL, or a soldier does some bullshit, and we don't like that, but we still praise the good soldiers. I feel like as a black woman, your skin is like your uniform, and every day when you go outside, you do a lot of things for the country, and you never get praised for it. So it's like, and they never get a chance to take that uniform off. It's on 24/7. So when people call in and bash them nonstop, without at least mentioning the good things that they do, that's not right.
I can agree with that. Absolutely.
They have to put up with all the things that white women put up with, brown women, yellow women, red women, but they got to put up with it extra on top because they're black, and then on top of that, they don't get the backing of the media. They don't get the backing of men the same way other races of women do. And I've seen it firsthand. I've seen men let a white woman get away with something while they're dating them that they would never let a black woman get away with. Or shit that they talk about a black woman negatively about, and their white or their Hispanic or their Asian girlfriend is doing the same fucking thing as he's talking to me. So I think that's part of, like, show some fucking respect, have some self-worth, be considerate. You can bash someone, but still talk about their good sides too. Make it fair, because I know that as a man myself, I wouldn't want to hear just the bad things about me, because then I feel like you're just bashing me. You don't like me. You don't think anything's good about me. But if you said, hey, these are the good things and these are the bad things, it makes it a much more fair and a much more doable debate. Doable argument, doable conversation, instead of just bashing someone nonstop. I'm not saying if you don't like something about someone or a group that you shouldn't be able to have a conversation about it. But when you constantly just bash and bash and bash and bash and bash, and you never see something positive, it's kind of demoralizing. So, that goes to the whole point. Like, people just need to learn to respect each other. People need to talk. Don't be a coward. Say how you feel, but be honest. And if, in relationships where men and women are fighting like cats and dogs, well, you know what? Maybe you're not meant for each other. Maybe it's not the fact that the problem is that she makes more money than the guy. Maybe the problem isn't that you don't cook. Maybe there's got to be other issues, maybe. And if that's so, break the fuck up and move on. I've been single for the last almost 10 years. I've never been happier in my fucking life. I'm so happy. I don't really think I'm ever going to be in a relationship again. I've actually thought to myself, do I ever even want to have sex again? Like, I am so happy right now. I literally I could sit home and do nothing all fucking day long, and I'm happy. I'm like, I'm happy being by myself. So it's like, but then again, obviously when you meet the right person, it'll work out. But my point is, if you really have to sit there and like argue with the opposite gender, you know what, maybe just don't even worry about them. Focus on you. Go to school, get another degree, or finish your degree, or focus on work, make more money, start your own business, go to the gym, get your health right, get your diet right, get your mind right, do something else, do you. Like, you know, and I think you'll find out the less you worry about the gender wars, the less you worry about the other sex, you'll realize that more people are going to want you, because people want interesting people. So the better, the more fit you are, the happier you are, the smarter you are, the more money you make. Whether you're a man or a woman, people are going to notice that, and they're going to want that, because everybody wants the best.
Correct.
So I think the men that are complaining that we can't find a good woman, that's because they're not the alphas. They're the ones who don't got a great job. They're the ones who are not in great shape. Those are the ones that can't provide a good, stimulating conversation. Those are the ones that don't got a good stroke. And the same thing for the women. Like, you know, I can't find a good man. No. You can find a good man. You check your DMs. There's probably 100 guys in there right now, but they all look like Steve Urkel, so you won't give them a chance. You want Tyson Bedford and Brad Pitt. That's what you want. Who makes $1 million, will never cheat on you, has a 9-inch cock, does this, does that, kisses your ass. Like people want too much. If you realize what's important in life and you go after what you need versus what you want, I think everybody in this world, whether it's a relationship, a man or a woman, a business deal or whatever, things will always work out more efficiently. And I think you realize that when you don't want something so much, when you don't look for something so much, it's going to pop up right in your face anyway.
Yeah, that's the way of the world. Such a weird thing. John, I think you were on fire, and I agree with most of what you said. I think the chat, though, caught a little bit of static on the not wanting to have sex anymore. But I think aside from that,
I mean, honestly, man, it's been a minute for me, and I'm perfectly fine. I'm smiling right now talking about it. Like, I am not stressed out, bro. I go home, take care of myself because I know how I like it just right, and I'm done. I'm done. That's it. Like, you know, I don't got to worry about, like, oh, do you like that? Is that okay? Do you like that? Do you want it fast? No, I know. I love myself perfectly every time. And I don't got to worry about I don't got to worry about somebody's pussy burning me. You know what I mean? Like, I know where my hand's been.
No, just wash your hands thoroughly, you know. Make sure you wear gloves as necessary. No, but
and a face mask.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh man, that's wild.
What other topic of this do you want to talk about?
Okay. In the last call, Ms. Bell's call, and it seemed to generate a little bit of stimulation in the chat. What are your thoughts on the gender wage gap?
It's a scam, and so many people still believe it. You know, it's like you said, if employers can get away with paying women less, they'd have a lot more female employees than male employees. And we're not going to take into... So this study has been debunked, because I had a conversation with a friend today in regards to how everything starts with the family, because he's one of these never Trumpers. This is the biracial guy I was telling you about. He's half black, half white. He's married to a black woman. And he's just never Trumper. He's like, Slave Master Joe is better than Trump. I was like, okay, you know, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. So I was talking about something similar to this to him today. And in regards to the wage gap, it's just not true, because you're manipulating numbers, which is the point I was getting at with something he said to me about how more black people die from COVID than white people. And I said, that's true, but you're not breaking down the numbers and why that situation is what it is. I'll get to that in a second. But which has to do with relationships and gender wars. But with the wage gap for the women, they're taking like just women in general versus men in general. They're not taking a woman family care doctor who's been doing it for 20 years straight to a male family care doctor who's been doing it for 20 years straight. They just do women's wages to men's wages. Then when a woman takes 2 or 3 years off to raise her kids, or 4 years off to raise her kids, and then she comes back to the field and she's kind of like at a 4-year disadvantage, because with medicine it's constantly evolving. So she might have to get recertified to do you know, who knows what. But the whole point is when you compare men and women in the same field for the same amount of time without any breaks and same this and same that, you'll see that it's almost the goddamn same. If not, some women make even more money. So it's a scam. They're preying on people's laziness to not look into the facts, just like a lot of other numbers that are out there. Numbers don't lie. People manipulate numbers. And if you know how to do your own, breakdown, you'll realize that you can find the truth, but it's usually never what's presented to you, because what's presented to you is to fit a narrative. So no, it's not true. Like, could you go down the list and find a Yeah, probably. But like this blatant thing that women just get paid less because they're women and no other reason. No, that's not true. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just bullshit. It is bullshit. As an employer, you think these evil Republicans that only care about money and think capitalism is better than God, you think they wouldn't go out and hire more women than men? Give me a break. Matter of fact, in the nursing profession, there's such a shortage of men that they're actually trying to pay men more money to bring them in because the women are doing so well and they want to diversify the field in nursing. So you can find any scenario you want if you look hard enough. If you look hard enough, you'll find anything that you're looking for, no matter how rare you think it might be.
I agree. I definitely agree with that.
People need to do their own reading, and they need to read from multiple sources, not just a source that agrees with you all the time. Challenge yourself and go completely to the other side and really question how what they're saying might make sense to them, and then try and fit that into how it doesn't make sense to you, and put that all together. I promise you, you'll become a better, smarter person.
I agree. I think more people need to do that too, because I think when you stay in those echo chambers, it almost dehumanizes, other people and their opinions. So when you actually do listen to something different, I think it helps you. You may not agree with those people. It helps you at least, I think, maintain a level of respect when you do have an understanding of what they do. If they put out a well thought argument, somebody just ranting off a bunch of bullshit, you're not going to give a fuck. But if somebody's passionately explaining something and you actually listen without trying to minimize the bias and trying to debunk everything off top. I think it changes things. I don't think it necessarily changes you, but I think it creates a better relationship. I think more people need to do that.
Yeah, and in regards to the gender war, it's only a war if two people are fighting each other. Mm-hmm. So, as a man, when I'm dealing with a woman who is absolutely belligerent in whatever way to me, I'm gone. I'm done. Like, what are you doing? I'm out, bitch. Like, what do you think what I'm doing? I'm gone. Like, I've had horrible experiences with women sometimes, and I just left. I didn't argue with them. When I was younger, I did, because I didn't know any better, and we all mature and learn from our mistakes. But as you get older, you learn that don't put yourself in a needless war. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to die over a war that you're not passionate about. And more importantly, when you can go down the block and find another woman, or if you're a woman, you can go find another man, or if you're gay, you can find somebody of the same sex. Like, there's too many fish in the sea to be arguing with people that are totally belligerent. And that's why I always make the excuse, like, if a man beats his wife, he's totally wrong. And if he keeps beating her every day, he's still wrong. But at one point, after 10 years of getting beat every day, is it the woman's fault for not leaving? Mm-hmm. And you could say the same thing about a man who complains about his wife every day. At what point is she not the bitch, but you're the bitch because you haven't left from being miserable for 10 years? Mm-hmm. So my whole thing is, that's it. And that was the whole point of me saying better yourself, because you won't have to put up with that. And as soon as you leave the house, you can find another woman in 2 seconds who's a 10 or a 9. You know what I mean? And what did Beyonce say? All your stuff in a box to the left. You could sing that song to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a song.
Like I had a woman file a false domestic abuse charge on me.
Wow.
Blatantly lied. Because remember I told you that a woman faked a pregnancy on me once?
Yes.
Yeah, it was that fucking same ghetto ass fucking bitch. So and I call her a bitch because you got to be a real fucking bitch to do that.
Oh yeah.
So she faked a pregnancy on me. When I found out and I caught her and we had that conversation about it, I made a determination that I was taking all my shit. So when I was taking all, because we were living together, when I took all my shit out, as I was trying to take my shit out, she was like, wouldn't let me go. No, stop this now. Like, trying to grab onto me and hug me and stuff like that. And I'm like, leave me alone. I'm out. And she wouldn't let me go. And then she literally fell on the floor, like walked herself down to the floor and was like, oh my God, why did you push me? And I'm like, get up. Like, it was a blatant, like, ridiculous, like, fake, like, you know what I mean? Like, she literally, it was worse than a James Harden flop, worse than a LeBron flop. And I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I didn't push you. She's like, okay. She's like, I don't want you leaving. No. I was like, well, you should have thought about that before you faked a fucking pregnancy, you fucking psycho. And then she's like, well, you can't leave me because I'll never. She was bipolar. She's like, I found out she was bipolar. It runs in her family. She's like, you're never gonna leave me. And I'm like, okay. So I just kept putting my shit in a bag. Like I was putting my shit in garbage bags, in those big construction black garbage bags. And then she's like, oh, you're hitting me. Stop hitting me. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm halfway across the room. Like, you fucking weirdo. So I was like, look, call the police if you think I'm hitting you. Like, because I was so annoyed. I was like, just get the police here so I can fucking get the hell out of here. So she actually calls the fucking police and starts screaming into the phone, oh, my God, you're hitting me. Stop. Ow, 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 ow. I'm literally across the living room. I'm literally probably 12 feet away from her. You know what I mean? And she's literally yelling into the phone, oh, my God, stop hitting me, ow, ow, ow. So I kind of, like, raised my voice a little bit. I'm like, I'm in the background. You can hear him far away, whoever's on the other side of the phone. I'm like, I'm nowhere near her. Like, trying to, get them to realize, like, because, they record that shit. So I wanted to hear that I'm not near her while she's saying, ow, 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 you're hitting me. Yeah. Police show up. There was 3 fucking SWAT trucks. There was fucking 6 cop cars. They come barging into the fucking house. Of course, they fucking believe her. They fucking put me in the back of a cop car. They drive me 4 blocks over because they wanted to quote-unquote separate us because they separated me from the house, not her. So they fucking separate. They separate us, and then I'm like, telling the officer, I was like, all right, what happened? I'm like, I'm telling him what happened. You better not tell me nothing else. Like, just fucking interrogating me. I was like, look, guy, I'm like, I didn't hit her. I found that she faked a pregnancy. I waited a couple of days to not make it suspicious. I was going to bounce. I thought that she had a day off from work because it's a holiday, and I realized that she never takes this day off because of something that happened with her family. So she caught me trying to leave. I was like, so she lied and said I hit her. He's like, well, how do we know that, this and that? And I'm like, look, I'm 6'1", 230 pounds. She's 5'6", 120 pounds. I said, if I hit her, she'd be stuck in the wall still. I said, there's no scratches on her, no blood on her, no torn clothes. Her weave ain't messed up. Her makeup ain't running. Her eyes ain't red from crying. Fucking nothing. Nothing's destroyed in the apartment. Nothing's a mess. She's not hysterical. I'm like, there is literally not one single thing about her that would indicate that I put my hands on her anyway. There's no bruises on her. No nothing on her. I said, that is my proof that I did not hit her. So they ended up believing me after the last officer was like telling me I'm a piece of shit. And I'm like, well, if you're not arresting me, it's because you don't believe her. So why am I the piece of shit? Yeah. Then she couldn't find her keys, and they're fucking like, we're going to arrest you if you keep playing these fucking games. Where are her keys? And I'm like, I don't know where her keys are. I'm like, they're probably in her giant-ass purse, which she always loses them. Like, I didn't touch them. Ended up being in her purse. So she left. I mean, so they left. So now I was like, all right, I can't leave now because she's going to do the same thing again, and I can't press my luck with this crazy woman. I go to bed that night. The next day I try and do the same thing, and she comes running in the house and finds me trying to do it and calls the cops again. No. Now, then she called her work and told her work to call the cops because I was holding her hostage. I'm like, what? I'm trying to leave. How am I holding you hostage? Then the police come, and I'm like, look, the same story happened yesterday. I didn't hit her. I never put my hands on her. Nothing. I'm like, she's flat out blatantly lying. Check her out. So then she told the police that she lied. And she didn't get arrested. So my whole point is, as soon as that was old, I had the police escort me out that time. And I never spoke to her again. I blocked her phone number. I blocked her text messages. I blocked her email address. She showed up to my house, stalking me for 2 weeks in front of my house. I had to have my family go out first so she could peel off at 5 in the morning. She called my job literally 26 times a day trying to get me on the phone. She almost ran me off the road at one time that nobody checked to make sure she wasn't there, telling me that she can't love me, that she's going to kill me because nobody else can love me. But it was insane. It was a Lifetime horror movie. But my point is, now I know to avoid all this because I saw the red flags of a fucking psycho. Yes. It happened when I was young. But the point is, if you're not happy with someone, if they're exhibiting certain characteristics that you know are going to be a huge, cut them off right away. Don't be afraid to be single. Don't be insecure thinking you can't find someone else. Don't worry about how much time you put into the relationship. It don't fucking matter. Because no amount of time in a bad relationship can equal one day of you being fucking happy.
Correct. I agree. And yes, red flags equal body bags, so you better check the motherfuckers out early. You wait too fucking long. Man, I'm telling you, just some of the craziest shit, and it's
You know,
just the signs
and I
are
mean,
always there.
and I'm sorry. Go ahead, Honcho.
No, I'm saying it's just you got to peep because the signs are always there, but some people get so enamored with individuals they're willing to overlook until it's too late.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think these gender wars are for people that just don't know how to. They don't have a high sense of self-worth. Like, if you're a man and you want your woman to cook and clean for you, one, you should be a man and fucking be a provider, and a protector, and have integrity, and provide her with good conversation. And then if she doesn't reciprocate, you kick her ass to the fucking curb with the Sunday night trash. And it should be the same thing for a man. I mean, for a woman. If you want certain things out of a man and you're providing the female equivalent of it to him and he's not giving it to you back, kick his ass to the curb with the Sunday night trash. But a lot of people don't do that. They just sit there and mope in their fucking issues and talk to their friends. Like, I don't know what to do. The same thing we told you for the last 3 years to do. Yeah, but I've been with him for 3 years. I don't want to break up with him or her. So that's it. All these gender wars are irrelevant. Let the feminists fuck each other. Let the fucking guys that are unrealistic and brutes, let them fuck each other. You don't gotta fuck them.
That's true. I got one last question for you.
Yes.
does the alphabet community have gender war issues?
Who?
The alphabet community. Do you think they have gender war issues?
I mean, I'm not an alphabet community member, so I can't speak on the alphabet community. But what I will say, I don't think anybody who is a man or woman of God, whether you're straight, gay, or anything in between, is that they're human too. So of course they're going to have problems. You know? That's not even like a PC answer. I think that's just like a I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I think that's a level-headed, smart, honest answer. I mean, they're human beings too. They are women, they are men. They're just like us. They just like to sleep with the same sex. I mean, they have their issues. We have our issues. Black people have their issues. White people have theirs, and everyone in between. So I would imagine that they have lots of issues, just like everyone else.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And men, respect your women. Learn how to fix a flat and a leaky faucet. And women, get in the gym, look good, wear high heels, naked, and cook us a steak and eggs, and everybody be happy.
I agree. I co-sign John for president. All right, Mr. John.
Honcho for VP.
No, man. Hey, I'm gonna I'll get you canceled. You don't want me there. Okay,
bro, I've been canceled.
Yes, it's. I think if you're not canceled, you're not doing something right. At this point, if you haven't been canceled, you're not living right. That's basically what it is. Okay. Anything else to keep in mind there, Mr. John?
I just want to say that all of these problems that we're talking about in life, whether it's racism, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, gender wars, Republican, Democrat, whatever, all the problems that we have in life, I think it all starts in the home. Parents, it's more difficult. I'm not a parent, but I will speak on it. It seems like it's more difficult than ever. It's like now a lot of parts of the country you need two incomes for what used to be able to be provided by one income. So you used to have one parent home to look over the kids, make sure they're not getting into trouble, to nurture them more and better. And it's just, times are changing, and it's becoming tougher and tougher to maintain a good home, a good, healthy, well-balanced home. Every young boy up until the age of 12 needs a woman in his life to give him balance, and after the age of 12, he needs a man to take him into manhood. Every young girl below the age of 12 needs a man to show her, to embrace her femininity and to show what a good man is supposed to do in her life. And then after the age of 12, she needs a woman to take her into womanhood. So, parents are more important than ever, and all these problems can be solved if we bring back the two-parent home. I don't care if it's a man and a woman two-parent home or a man and a man or a woman and a woman. You need a well-balanced, well-balanced people. You need man and woman, or feminine, masculine. And if you're gay, you're two women, get an uncle in there, get a grandfather in there. If you're two gay guys, get your mothers in there to balance out the man and the woman. So that's my opinion. All this shit could be solved with better parenting, and the way things are going, the single mother rates are going to be going up. I was doing some research because when I start doing these YouTube videos, I want to talk about it. 28% of white people, 28% of white kids are born out of wedlock. 52% of Hispanic women, which include white, black, and everything else, and then 72 or 76% of black women, their children are born out of wedlock, and it's only going to keep going higher. So, and you know, I'm not really a traditional marriage where you have to get married underneath the government, like the marriage certificate, but you should be married under God and have both partners in the house 24/7 to raise the kids, because it's just going to get worse. You know what I mean? At this rate, the Asians are going to take over us with no problem.
It's already happened. It's over with. They've successfully executed their plan. It's just a waiting game now.
Yes, if you have a parent home more often, like there was 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, less kids will be able to sneak around and do hardcore drugs and get addicted. You know, I mean, everyone can sneak around just once in a while here and there, but to be addicted and be on it while your mother is fucking hovering over you with a stick or an extension cord or a slipper or a wooden spoon, it's going to be a lot harder. You know what I mean? These kids that are crazy enough to go up and shoot a school, if they have their mother or their father watching over them more often, like because one parent was able to afford to stay home. There was, because think about it, there was less school shootings back in the day, and there was less gun regulations. There was a point in time in this country where machine guns were legal, and yet no one took a machine gun to a school and shot it up. So it's not. We keep trying to fix the after effect. We're not trying to fix what's causing it. You know what I mean? What's causing it is these kids aren't getting enough love. People with mental health issues are going undiagnosed. We don't have enough mental health institutions. So at the end of the day, love really does help cure everything. We just got to stop bullshitting and actually do it. Vote for me 2024. Honcho's my running mate. I love black people.
I'll secure the black vote for you. I got you. Hell no. You got
all right. You know what? I was pissed off that Miss Bell fucking took all 18 minutes of her 8-minute allotted time. But I know I fucking did it even worse. So let me get off the phone. I'm really sorry to Den folks. I'm sure somebody's going to come back. I'm sure somebody's going to come at me for sticking up for black women. But you know what? We got to love everybody because there's good and bad in everybody. So have a good night, Honcho. Have a good night, Den folks. And God bless everybody. Bye-bye.
All right, Mr. John. Appreciate the call, sir. Nah, I'd probably lose the whole black vote. Like, they not rocking with me. What's the motherfucking deal? We got called into the den this evening.
It's one of those rude black women calling in.
I should have known. We wouldn't have made it through the den without this happening. What's the motherfucking deal, Miss Rashida? How are you this evening?
Oh, I'm great. I'm so damn tired of my neighbors. I'm ready to call the police on them.
What's going on with the neighbors?
My neighbor keep popping these goddamn firecrackers. Now, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. As long as you getting your ass out your goddamn bed to pop firecrackers, what? Now, don't tell me there's no gunshot. I know the difference. I've been in Chicago a long time. I know the difference. And these same goddamn people, they pop firecrackers every goddamn day. They was popping fortune, pink, and everything else. And they pop some every day. It's like they say from just pop on something just every day. I think it's just goddamn COVID shit and got people afraid.
Yeah, people bored. People like got cabin fever and shit. They just want it.
Yeah, that's what I think.
They want
and then
everything
I
they can.
They give next door goddamn the granddaughter and the 5 kids, 5 baby daddies and shit. Just around that island and outside playing, getting on the goddamn nerves. My room was back of that all the time. I should move to the other room towards the phone. That's what I should.
You said you're gonna move to the other room.
Yeah, that's what I should.
Why would you do
I'm
that?
about tired of these goddamn shit. I don't know, because I don't.
Oh, that's right.
I kind of like my peace. You know what I'm saying? It's peace when I can get it. You know what I'm saying? But I know that ain't the topic. It's the real, but it's the thing. I call in rant. Y'all let me use.
Hold on a second. You sound real low. You outside?
Wait, say that again now.
I say, 'cause it sounds real windy on your end. I can kind of barely hear you.
Yeah, that's my fan shit. It's hot. You know, it was 88 today. I ain't
What?
used to that heat like that.
What? 88 is hot to you?
Cold up in Chicago.
Oh my God. 88.
Yeah, see, that's hot for us. I know you without 100-degree ass heat.
That shit
That's
sound
like a green breeze.
That sound like a cold front and shit. Terrible. Okay, so do you believe, Miss Rashida, that there is a gender war taking place in America?
A gender war?
Yes.
I don't think so. If it is, I don't know nothing about it. Ain't nobody told me about it.
No, they didn't give you the pamphlet to sign up.
Ain't nobody gave me no invitation. I showed up, shut it out.
Oh man, hold on. Because they sent it in an email. So what I'll do is I'll forward my copy of the email to you, so that way you can have it.
Okay.
And, yeah, I got you.
I know you ain't gonna do it, but you always think you're gonna do something. You don't never do it. You know what it is.
That's no way, not me.
I can't hardly see.
What happened now?
That's one problem with me, and y'all don't listen. I told you about that black screen. I can't hardly see you.
You can't see me on the black screen?
No, I can't. Not how barely.
That's not, I'm hiding.
I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull up to the damn den and cut your lights on. That's what I'm gonna do.
Don't do that. Then they gonna see me.
That's what I think. It's like you hiding something. You hiding from somebody.
Yeah.
You're in a witness protection program.
Mm-hmm.
You hiding from the bill collector. You hiding from?
I'm hiding from you.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay low. Look, it might be trouble. It could be dangerous.
Hey, Miss Me. Hey, Miss Bell. Hey, everybody.
I don't know. I think Miss Meter Banner, she ain't like what we was talking about. She was, she wasn't. I don't know if she's still here.
Miss Me, you need to call me sometime. We need to talk about Honcho here.
Why would y'all want to do such a thing? That would be an inappropriate conversation to be having.
Huh?
So that would be an inappropriate conversation to be having. So you don't think that men and women are having, or more? There's more tension between men and women now than it was in the past.
Didn't I tell you I'm out of touch? I don't know.
You supposed to know. You got the streets on lock. You supposed to know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. You know you do.
I don't know. I haven't seen no difference, so I don't really know what you're talking about. They do the same thing they always do. Don't communicate right. Men think they run things. Women think they run things. I mean, hey.
So you feel like that both sides have communication issues?
Yes. Because men think they know what women want. Women think they know what men want. When you just really need to talk to your partner and see what they want. That's the best way to get the correct answer. All that assuming shit is what makes things so bad.
So, what do you think men want?
What do I think, men? A good meal. You to be quiet when they watch sports. Good relations, good oral relations, and I don't think men are that complicated. I think they want to go to work, come home, pay the bills, not have you nagging them, have a nice cold, if they drink beer or whatever they drink. Just peace. They want peace. That's it. Not the first thing they do when they walk in the door. You blah, 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 blah. They want to come home, be stressed, and just relax.
Let's play out a little scenario here, okay? And here's a scenario I want to play out. So, Rashida's man is coming home from a hard day's work. You can put in
Am I working or am I staying at home?
You stay at home. He pulling 12-hour shifts, so he working, making big money.
Okay.
What is he? What is he coming home to when he opens the door? What is he looking forward to on a typical day from Miss Rashida?
Well, likely I already called him to see what he wanted for dinner, so that's what he wants to eat when he come home.
What do you want? But you're supposed to surprise him. You're supposed to know what he like. You've been with him, for long enough. You're supposed to know what he like. In your opinion, what?
What day of the week is it?
It's Thursday.
I don't cook everything.
It's Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah. Coming home from work just in time to catch the Thursday night football game. What is he coming home to look forward to?
Now, it's a football game, so he definitely gonna have the normal football food, probably like pizza and wings and beer and let's see, yeah, that's basically what he gonna have. He gonna get a whole. I don't know. Not for him to watch no football. Snacks and shit. And I go to my room. Let him enjoy the game.
Okay.
See, one thing, men don't like to talk that. Women like to talk. A lot of women like to talk. That's why you have your friends and girlfriends talk. Men, they like to say a few words. Now, men like to talk to men for something. Like, I noticed that I don't know if it's everybody, but my brother, they talk to each other. But when it comes to their woman, they more quiet. I don't know. I don't understand what that's all about.
Because men, in reality, men and women don't have shit to talk about.
Why you say that?
In reality, there are issues and problems and going on in the world and stuff like that. I mean, that's always open for discussion. But if we're just talking about like common behaviors, men and women are not alike, and so.
I think that's the problem that some women try to make their men like a woman.
Correct.
He does not want to go shopping with you,
Correct.
Holding your purse while you going around the mall. That's what you got to girl. Oh, it'd be so cute for us to go to the mall and shop. He don't want to do that. While you out shopping, he want to be at home watching the game with his friends or doing something, or playing pool or doing something. Just because you're in a relationship with somebody don't mean y'all have to do everything together.
Correct.
And some things, I think men consider women activities. And some things, women, you should consider them men activities. Like, you don't have to take an interest in football and basketball and whatever make him like you more or something, because he probably enjoy that time to himself with his friends. But you want to sit up there and ask all these questions, interrupting the game, and that's what you're doing, interrupting the game. But see, a lot of times, women feel neglected during those times. Like, he don't pay, he ain't paying no attention to me. He's going to watch football, and that's his time. Let him unwind. That, I don't know why men like football and all that kind of shit, but you know, it is what it is. Let him have something he like he might like a shot. Go do that. That's a good time to ask him for his credit card while you watching the game, so he get rid of you. Here, baby, down with no shots.
So you over there playing the long con? That's what you doing? You trying to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, when you watching the game, baby, I want to go to the mall. Here you go.
I mean, you might be right though. That is being a little annoying. That's the easy way to.
And then he ain't got to go with you. That's the beautiful part of it. He feel like he ain't got to go with you. Say you gone, he at home enjoying himself and unwinding, and that's his relaxation. Or maybe he like to play
If
the
you
video
don't vote
game.
for John, you are not black person shrugging tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy.
Paying them bills, working. Don't worry about what he like to do with his spare time. It's his spare time. They make videos for adults. See, I think sometimes we be too worried about what he wants, he liking, and all this and everything. Like as long as he having the grown man business, he on his grown man shit, leave that man alone. And this came from a long, probably came full circle because trust me, all this knowledge came from a lot of mistakes.
So, first, I appreciate the love, Miss Just Sarah. But second, if a man is providing and doing all the things that he's supposed to do, and a woman basically is just to stay at home, but she doesn't cook, should he stay with that woman?
No, what she needs to do is start practicing. There ain't no such thing as you don't cook. I wouldn't put up this shit. No, sir. No. Saying that that's part of your duty. And I don't care who's saying. That's part of your duty. To clean that house and have that man home cook meals. You ain't got to cook every day, but you need to get something up under your belt. You start with the basics. It's all kind of. If you don't know how to cook, go take cooking classes. You got time, you can stay at home first. They have cooking classes. They show you what to do.
Yeah, you can go take cooking class at the community college.
I'll give a shit what you take that. Get that shit done. You practice till you get that shit right.
Oh, but they ain't got no community class. I mean, you can't go take no cooking class now. Too much corona out there.
He got a mama. He got a mama. You got a mama. You go in the OG kitchen and start learning.
You know they don't want you messing around in their kitchen. They ain't gonna play that shit. You fucking around in their kitchen, they'll bust you out, you get stabbed.
Look, I used to be one of them women. I ain't got to cook, stand and all this and that, all this type of shit. But I learned later in life how to cook, and I'm glad I did because I found out that a lot of men like the woman that can cook. Because I have I already told you about my brother. I don't know about but I hear them and talk to their friends and stuff about they women that don't cook. You know what I'm saying? And that's the force about in a relationship. It's like everything else pretty good, but she don't cook. And I feel like, they good dudes. So when I cook, I call you. I might say, hey, I got some extra food, extra place. Come to get a place. They like my brothers.
So you say. I think you might be trying to, you setting up another one of them long cons. They eat enough food, enough for the cooking. It's gonna make their way through their stomach to their heart. They're gonna be.
Handle their business. Not to worry about it. Handle your business.
Interesting.
Next one will be
Okay. You don't know.
Put that man a decent man.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing I've heard. I don't know if it's just a southern thing. I don't know if that's something y'all have heard. If y'all may have heard in the chat, but I've heard women say that you're not supposed to let another woman cook for your man. If you got like a boyfriend or
I
something like
heard.
that, something like
I
that.
used to think like that too, and that's why I got my ass in the kitchen too. Get your ass in the kitchen, and you ain't got to worry about it.
Oh man. Okay. What's
Or you ain't supposed to let another mama fix on the plate either. I heard about that too.
Yeah. Don't bring him to the cookout. You let your cousin fix his plate. It's a wrap. You already know what kind of cousin you got. One of them cousin Ebony's. You already know what's up.
But you know the way I look at it, like these good dudes, and they out there, they working, they taking care of their kids, they black young men, and that's not something to y'all saying. So yeah, if I cook something, and I know they didn't get no home cooked meal, they always come out they be on the home cooked meal. Hell yeah, I'm proud to say, you know, you gotta extra food, something in the place. Now I don't get to take it home.
Mm.
But, okay. I don't think they can bring it home.
Yeah, they might start a ruckus. They better say somebody grandma cooked. So, I have a question, Miss Rashida.
Yeah.
Here is my question. Have you've been a resident of the Chicago area your entire life?
Say that again now?
So, you've been a resident of the Chicago area your entire life?
Yeah.
Have you ever considered living anywhere else?
Yeah.
Where?
I have family obligations that don't allow that. But I would love to go to Florida.
To Florida. Why Florida?
That's where my other brothers at. Got a big house. Yeah.
So you like living in crazy places, is what you're telling me? Because Chicago is wild. Florida is crazy. You gonna live in Florida? You gonna wake up alligators fighting on your front porch and shit?
Well, where would you suggest?
I'm just asking. There's nothing wrong with Florida, honestly. Florida has some beautiful beaches. You know.
I'm not interested in it. There's too many other sharks in the ocean.
Oh, but they got that good water. So, well, I don't know if down here, there's a place called Galveston, and it has a beach, and it's bad.
If it's true that on the beaches people be they say it's like the immigrants and stuff be popping up like saying hello and maybe to America.
They said, who made it to America? I'm not sure. But you talking about Eddie Murphy?
Huh?
I said, you said Eddie Murphy coming to America?
No, I said the immigrants, they said they be popping up at the ocean, talking out, well, they glad they made it to America. I don't know if it's true or not. So they said they be coming on the beaches and stuff. I don't know.
So, if you were on the beach in Florida and you saw an illegal immigrant, would you help them or would you turn them in?
No, I wouldn't turn them in. I'm mad my business. If I got some snacks or some food or something, I get them a little food or something, a sandwich or a bit some water. No, they been in the water. I would try to help them a little bit, but don't follow me home now. I might drop them off at the
Home Depot.
The immigration place.
You gonna take them to the immigration place? They gonna get their ass arrested. If you take them to the immigration place, they gonna get arrested.
Well, they coming over here. They should know where the fuck to go.
But they not going.
I don't know what to do.
They definitely not going to immigration. They
Shit, I don't know what you do with them.
they go
You
into
haven't
they
had any experience with the illegal.
they probably got some primos or something that they can go hang out with, something like that. Um,
I would be very what you call it? I would be very how you say it? I would be very not mad, but I would be mm, I would feel bad. I would feel bad if I got them deported and I was trying to help them.
Word. That'd be a lot of work, and then have to just fucking get deported, get sent back. But
Well, I
honestly,
mean, they probably got family or something, so I try to help them like that, I guess.
but man, I'm telling you, that's what you do is they come in. If you really want to help them out, you just take them straight to Home Depot so they can get some work and start getting some money in their pocket.
Oh,
You know,
right.
like
It's just like that, because it's like that here. It's like you can go to Home Depot and get you a couple to help you around your house.
yeah, but it's like it's a beautiful thing, I think it should almost be that's the American way, right? You have choices in who you choose to conduct your business with, and then it's readily available in the parking lot, and they're fighting for your business, and that's respectable. Most businesses these days, or workers, they don't give a shit. They don't put out effort, but these guys are willing to literally run and jump in your vehicle to work. And I think that's to say I'm cracking jokes, but in reality, if more people were that serious and had that kind of work ethic, America would be a better place. But but no, I almost decided that.
I think if our people had that work ethic, it would be much better. So I was trying to help out African American young men who work around town, and they both late on, and that was just crazy. All nothing like, damn, do you want to work? Like,
No, absolutely.
But then the next people, they came and did what they had to do right on time when they said they were going to do it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's look, shit.
They don't play around when it comes to their money.
Shit, no. Fuck, no, that's what I'm saying. Though.
And they do a good job.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. The pride of work. That's the thing. They're gonna come in, they're gonna work, and they're gonna take pride in their work. You got a lot of people, niggas that don't take no pride in their work for, no matter what. I mean, they'll go be happy that they got a job, be looking for a job. It may be a job that's minimum wage or whatever. Be happy that you got the job, and then on the first day after orientation, you talking about what you ain't gonna do. Or you talking about I'm just gonna do the minimum because I'm getting paid minimum wage. Like that's a stupid fucking mentality, and that's why motherfuckers don't grow. Like you go in, you take that opportunity, you maximize it because you don't know what other opportunities will arise from that. And it's just like people you talking about.
They come to taking our jobs. Y'all don't act like y'all want them. And when you get them, you don't want them first. So stop the bullshit.
Yeah, so that's just my whole thing. It's just, I mean, it is what it is because they could have came and done that job for you. You might have had somebody else who needed some work. Bam, that passed it on to them, and they may pass, but they might have end up getting 3 or 4 jobs off of doing that one job, and it could be repeat customers. You just never know.
Goddamn, I'm gonna try and give you my kidney to do this little work right here. Be reasonable.
Yeah.
Damn, you trying to make all the money off of me? Damn, spread the wealth.
Yeah, that's the one.
You got to be reasonable. Shit, you can't charge 10 times what the next motherfucker charge.
Nah, you definitely can't do that. That's gonna get you put in a bad way. So.
We done got all off top now. I don't even know what the hell we was
Yeah, it's your fault. Because every time you call, you do this. You get us on the off topic, and then we on some bullshit. So I just blame you. I mean, it's I expect it to happen, Rashid. I just throw the topic out when you call. And even talk about the topic no more because I know you're just gonna take me down the rabbit hole and just hijack the stream and take us in the wrong direction. So really, all the blame is on you.
That's that bullshit.
I mean, we have an agenda war right now. See, this is the gender war. See what women do, y'all. This is what women do. Women come onto the stream. They hijack the stream. They hijack the phone call, and then they take the bag and run with it. You know what I'm saying? This is gender wars right here, live in your face. A live gender war live stream. I see you. Look, y'all ain't getting this nowhere else.
You know what? I want to ask you a question.
All right, what's happening?
Why do you do this shit every time I call?
What do you?
Like you be halfway asleep, and then when I call, you wake up energized and ready for war.
Wow. I don't think that's a thing. I believe that's a false accusation against my character.
You tell me that every stream. You say I'm doing a false accusation.
Yeah, I mean, because you levying, false accusations on my character on the regular, and it's unfortunate that, we have to have these discussions. Yes, on the regular.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, it is extremely unfortunate. So, yes, that.
I slow it. I can't believe what I'm hearing. These are false accusations.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't know why. I don't know what I've done. I mean, I know it's a lot of niggas with dreads in Chicago, so I don't know if maybe I look like somebody. So that's why you maybe you just accosted me.
No.
It's not. Why all the rappers got dreads and why all them little niggas, dog? All them niggas look like a bunch of little Jamaicans.
You know what? And the ones that do got them don't take care of them. I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? Like, what is that? At least if you gonna get them take care of them, they act like they just supposed to. They don't look all nice to me like yours do. They look like some goddamn people like them. It just look like they look dirty.
I'm gonna get mine switched up. I'm gonna get some of them like the niggas. You say you moving to Florida anyway, so I'm gonna get some like the niggas in Florida be doing. They be having them big ass what they call them wicks, them big ass Kodak black fucking dreads. They be looking crazy as hell, looking like gunplay. I'm gonna get some of them.
And you know what? What did Terry Crews do?
What didn't Terry Crews do?
You know what? I don't like him no more. He used to be cool. I don't know what his white pants wearing ass. He just pants tight. Like, I don't know what.
Like honestly, like my deal with Terry Crews is like I honestly don't dislike him. I could care less. I don't have any respect for him, I guess, in the sense of because you whatever you got accosted in front of your old lady. And again, I'm not saying beat the old white guy to a pulp, but there's ways of handling yourself, in any given situation.
He played a Hollywood game. That's how he got them roles. He played a Hollywood game.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I really believe it, because that's why I say somebody would just have to feel so cool. And I mean, in front of your wife, like if it was behind the scenes, some weird shit happened, like I could almost like see, okay, yeah. But like in front of your old lady and all, like and not give a fuck, that's wild stuff. Wow. Did Rashida hang up on me? Well, we'll find it. What time is it? We'll make this the last call, and then we're gonna wrap it up after this one. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
The Hunt Frost here.
Frost, what's the motherfucking deal? What's on your mind, Mr. Frost? How you doing this evening, sir?
Good sir. I said good sir, and this is a pretty interesting topic, and there are so many ways that I can go with this. So is there any specific way that you're talking about the whole men versus female thing? Because like I said, there are so many ways I can go with this.
Let's start with the question I was supposed to be asking most of the callers. In your opinion, what is the single biggest issue with the opposite sex?
You said what's the main issue?
Yeah, in your opinion, the single biggest issue.
Well, there's a lot of issues when it comes to like men versus women, but I think one of the biggest issues is basically there's no trust nor no compromise because it always seems like because it always seems like one always has to get one over the other, I said whether it's fair or not.
I agree. That is a very interesting point. It does seem like that. Um, so, do you think that there's a resolution to that, or does it just come down to individuals? Like, why do you think that people are like that?
I don't really think it's that's me for ever since the beginning of time. There really is no revolution because it's pretty much all. There is not, nor has there ever been any revolution. It's pretty much just always come down to basically he said, basically it's always basically he said, she said, he deserves this, she deserves that, he should do this, he should deserve that. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. But here's the thing. When it comes to me, like I said, when I pretty much said in the comments earlier that I will try, keyword try, not to offend anybody with some of my comments, most likely the women. But as far as most things go, I really feel but if it's the one thing I really can't, if it's one thing I see, look, if it's many things I can deal with, is that I can deal with favoritism, because that's just something you're gonna have to deal with in life. Feminism, that's always kind of iffy with me, but then again, sometimes it has good intentions. But if it's the one thing that I will always refuse to deal with, no matter what it is, it's double standards.
Yes, I agree. Double standards are the worst standards.
Yes, so as far as double standards go, I can understand how women would fit, how certain women would fit.
What in the hell is going on? Now the line has hung up on Mr. Frost. I think I need to look in, because it's right about that time. I think I got to pay them tomorrow or the next day. I think I need to look into another service. I'm going to do that tonight afterwards. What's the motherfucking deal? Who got called into the den this evening?
Sorry, Hans Frost here. I think my call must have dropped.
Yeah, it did drop. I think the phone service is tripping and hanging up on call, so I'm sorry for that. What you were saying?
Okay, no, okay. So what I was getting at is that, like I said, if it's the one thing I can't deal with is double standards. Now I can kind of understand where most women would kind of feel where most women would kind of feel slight in that aspect, because you know the whole thing, as that first caller said earlier, the whole wager thing, the whole wager thing, and how men get like a certain higher thing than others, and how other women would feel the whole thing of how they would do certain things, and they would do certain things, and they would come up with certain things, but yet they wouldn't get the credit nor the advice. And that's wrong, and that's wrong. It's sexist, and I can understand where they're coming from. But certain people don't realize the type of double standards that us men have to go through. Like, it seems like there are certain situations where we just can't win. Like, let's take relationships for example. Whenever a relationship is failing, 9 times out of 10, who's the first person they want to blame?
It's always the man. Yeah, it's always the man.
It's always the man. And also when it comes to failing relationships, especially when it comes to children, who's the first person that always get blamed? The man. And it pretty much, and the number one double, and pretty much, and some of the biggest double standards that pretty much always kind of get under my skin is the double standards when it comes to stuff like domestic abuse.
There's definitely a big double standard in domestic abuse, and I think that's it's a weird thing because there's so many factors when it comes to when it comes to the other way around. When you're talking about men abusing women, that's completely unacceptable. You're talking about the stronger sex. I mean, there's really no go. You know, if you got to restrict her from attacking you, you do what you do, get out of the situation. But when the table is turned, right, and it's a woman kind of beating on a man, or he's more submissive, or whatever it is, it's almost like nobody takes it seriously. Man don't want to say nothing because it's embarrassing. If you go tell, some women, well, my old lady, she's beating on me or she abused me, you're afraid of getting laughed at by one, your friends and family, or if they don't know, you're embarrassed. Two, I don't even think the police really take stuff like that. So they're going to look at you like, other men aren't going to take you serious. You're going to be looked at in a particular way. So I think, one, that's why you don't see very much of it getting reported if that does happen. And then two, like if it does get reported, again, like I said, nobody takes it serious. So I agree that that's a big double standard.
Yeah, and that's the main problem I mostly have when it comes to domestic abuse, because domestic abuse always works in the woman's favor, because I know they say nobody should be hitting nobody, but here's the thing. I understand, men are supposed to hit women, but for some reason people act like women could just hit men because it's just like you said. It's just like you said a second ago. It's like if a man hits a woman, he's rightfully condemned. He's rightfully condemned for the rest of his life. He's rightfully condemned for the rest of his life, and it's going to be shunned upon. But on the other hand, if a woman hits a man, the next thing you know, people be glorifying it and snickering. Like for example, if a female said like the most disrespectful thing to me, and I so much just try to push her, next thing you know, I'm gonna have 5 guys tackling me to the ground. But the next thing you know, a female could. The next thing you know, I could do something that's like a mere misunderstanding. The next thing you know, a female could push me around, slap me and everything, and nobody's gonna do anything. All they do is snicker. It's always like, basically, man hits woman. It's like, man hits woman. It's like, dude, you just beat up a girl. But that's the woman hits man. It's like you got beat up by a girl. I hate that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And 12, and I agree, you shouldn't, but there's some men who are people, period. And I think this is how domestic or how abuse works on both sides. But there's some people who are so afraid to go out, they'd rather stick with the known abuse because they're fearful of what is out there, on their own. Some of it is resources. Again, like I say, some people are born in fucked up situations where they never really felt or never had an understanding or a loving household, so they don't even know. It's a lot of crazy shit. But ultimately, as a man, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't be doing that. But it happens. There are a lot of situations where it does occur. And again, like I say, there is a different narrative when you are on the receiving end of blows. It's funny. Do you remember a show called What Would You Do?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, do you remember a show called What Would You Do?
You said if I called?
No, it's a show called, or I don't know if it still comes on, or it might be just on YouTube now, but it used to come on a while back, called What Would You Do? And I forgot the guy's name, but basically they would set up these scenarios in public, like these fucked up ass scenarios, and see how people would respond, right? And so one of the scenarios was at a park, and it was a domestic abuse scenario. And the man, the first one was the man yelling at the woman, to see how people responded. And the man was yelling at her. He was kind of in her face. She was sitting on a bench, and she's, playing timid and shy and everything. And I mean, you saw superheroes don their capes and come from out of nowhere, and people stop and, report and call the police. I mean, like all kind of crazy shit. But then they flipped the script and had the woman as the aggressor and the man sitting on the bench. And, like you said, people walked, they watched, they snickered, they laughed, they pointed. And this is men and women. And so, after people pass by and do these things, they stop and they ask them questions. Well, why didn't you chime in, or why did you say something, or whatever? And it was like with the woman, and especially when somebody steps up, then everybody's a hero now because somebody else took the initiative. Groups of people would jump in to help out. But with the man, it was like almost nobody. But there was tons of people laughing, pointing, and all that. And so he asked him, well, why didn't you help out in this situation? And a lot of people said because they automatically assumed that the man deserved it. And so, why do you think that if a man is yelling at a woman, she's considered a victim, but if a woman's yelling at a man, that it's viewed as he deserves it?
I really do not. I really have no idea. I really have no idea why that's so. I really have no idea why that's always the case. Why it's always the case, and like I said, as far as like I said, and I really sometimes I really feel that, like I said, just like we suffer the consequences for for men, just like men suffer the consequences for putting their hands on women. Women should suffer equal consequences, because it's always like nowadays, like I said, because these past number of years, most likely not in the past few years, even at the turn of the last decade, these women, I said all these people have always gone about how women they need how basically girl power, women empowerment, women need to be all strong, women deserve equality, women deserve this, and I pretty much don't doubt they do. But then when it comes to stuff like domestic violence, then that's when they want to run straight back to feminism. And also pretty much while I'm on the subject, I pretty much also not it's not really so much as domestic abuse is where I don't really see. One thing I never really understand is how pretty much there's another double standard I pretty much don't understand, is how basically like how like when men and women, like when one cheats, like pretty much like when a man or a woman cheats, it's always kind of like, let's just say, look, if the woman, if the woman cheats on the man is always told like, it's not that serious, it's plenty more fish in the sea, just move on. But yet if the man cheats on the woman, then that's people want to say, he got everything, he deserves everything he got coming to him. The next thing you know, they be glorifying stuff like men, people vandalizing their property, destroying phones and all stuff like that. What? That's one thing I never understood. Why is it that ultimately, pretty much, when it comes to breakups or mess ups, why is it that women vandalizing men's property is always glorified?
I mean, I wonder that too. And as you're saying it, I was just thinking about, I'm wondering if maybe, physically being the weaker sex, maybe that gives a feeling of power or something. Maybe some type of leverage or something to know that you're inflicting pain or destroying something that they care about. So maybe you're hoping that it has, I guess, the same impact on them or whatever. I'm not sure. But I do think that's a stupid thing. It's weird. I don't know why they do it, but it's almost encouraged, it seems like.
Yes, and and that. Yes, like I said, pretty much, and like I said, this whole war, this whole war on gender thing. Honestly, this whole thing, I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid because there really shouldn't be a war, because that's the thing. There's certain things men can do, and there's certain things men can do. There's certain things women can do, and sometimes there's an in between. Sometimes there's an in between. It should be simple as that. But no.
Thank you, RASHETA. Happy person sparkling hard Honcho. The main Sancho shirts on sale now. Hooray, hooray, hooray. WHOLs is going to donate.
I agree. So, do you think that it's going to get worse, or do you think that there is a way that maybe men and women can improve the relations overall. Of course, everybody's not going to be happy. And we're speaking generalities of men and women. Some men don't like women, some women don't like men, and they're happy with their other choices. So I know we can't save the whole world, but do you think that there is a solution that could maybe bring straight men and women closer together again? And thank you, Miss Just Sarah, for the love. Thank you for the super chat.
Yep. In this, like I said, pretty much in this current society, in this let's just say in this current society of social, in this current society of social media, in this current society of social media, sensitive snowflakes, and just overall divided opinion, I really don't see how it can either get better or more worse than it already has. Is because even when they do, because even when they do come to a compromise, there's always going to be that one thing that's just going to divide. There's always one thing that's just going to be that it's going to divide them all. Whether like I said, whether it's double standards, relationships, children, all that stuff. It's always that one thing that is always going to divide them. But if it's one thing that I really believe is that nine times out of ten, it's always gonna work. It's always gonna work in a woman's favor, because, like I said, we've always lived in a society where it's like a woman could falsely accuse a man of anything and get away with it.
Yeah, without any repercussions, even if she is found out to be, fabricating, which is unfortunate. And it's a sketchy situation because, again, like I say, it does go both ways. You have situations where women lie. You have situations where men do shit and end up getting away with it. And it's fucked up on both behalves. Nobody should be doing either one of those. But unfortunately, like I said, there are people who participate in these kind of actions. I don't know what the answer is to solve it, but it's it's unfortunate, man, because I think every time we see these stories, it's easy to look and say, oh, see, look, there goes another one. Every time you see, a Scottie Pippen story, or every time some woman sees a Wendy Williams story, or something related to that, we can always point at the opposite. There's plenty of stories. Say, oh, look at that person there. We see, I told you all men are like this, or see, look, I told you all women are like this. But I think we do that overlooking the fact that there's probably, well, I don't know if there's many more, maybe throughout history, maybe there were, I don't know. But all the people who have made it work, who are actually, thriving and succeeding, instead of pointing and say, well, hey, it is possible. Maybe it ain't so bad. Maybe we got to find out what it is they got figured out and why it's working for them. But I don't think most people are going to want to, subscribe to that mentality, because then that would require them to change, who they are and the way they think about stuff. And people don't want to do that. That's like the last thing people want to do.
Yes. Yes, and that's for yes, and pretty much like I said, when it comes to, like I said, because as far as men, like I said, in my honest opinion, like I said, as far as the whole minute, as far as the whole, is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse? Like I said, in the age we live in, it can only get worse. But in my opinion, I think the two best things. I think pretty much the two best things in order to improve it are pretty much like I said. We need compromise. It's pretty much we need compromise. We need compromise, and we need order. We need order because, like I said before, men can do certain things, women can do certain things. Sometimes it's in between, and we need order because like I always say, without order, pretty much without like I said, without order, there's chaos. Thanks for the call, Honch.
All right, Mr. Fossman, I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts this evening, sir.
Yep.
Yeah. And I agree. And like I said, there's a lot of comments and statements that I definitely agree with. talk for a few more, and then probably slide in Discord here in a bit. But is there a gender war going on? Yes. Should there be? No. Why? The fuck if I know, man. I really blame the media as the root cause for everything as of late. Media, social media, all this shit. We get inundated with a bunch of bullshit, and of course, it's going to impact the way you think. It's going to impact the way
Just
you
Sarah,
respond to
this
shit.
donation is in the name of my
And
little
again,
BV. Tell him.
Here in the YouTube rabbit hole or whatever it may be, it's going to impact you. Eventually, if you see enough of the same shit, long enough. And that's what it is. It's like I was just saying, it's always that see, look, told you, men ain't shit, women ain't shit. There's thousands of stories. Fucked up stories. They got fucking shows. What is it? Shows of wife murders and shit, husband murder. Like, this is the shit motherfuckers watch. Like, honestly, I mean, it's the people because it's who we are. You know what I mean? Otherwise, if people weren't doing it, it wouldn't be a thing. We'll say, well, who to blame? Who's to blame? But it's people. Because we do these things. Now, maybe not you or I individually, but I don't know. It's people that do these things. I mean, there's nobody to point the blame at. This is like I say, it's craziness. Yeah, I agree, and that's the crazy thing. Like there should be repercussions for filing false claims, false rapes, all those things. Like now. I think it's a weird thing because I know you can say, well, what if it gets proven or, you take it to court and et cetera, et cetera. I think it's different, not being able to prove it than an outright, blatantly false lie. And I think in situations where it's an outright lie and it's discovered that it's an outright lie, like somebody needs to go to jail. And that somebody needs to be the liar. Because like I say, we've seen too many of those where motherfuckers actually spent years in jail, behind somebody lying. And that person lied, gotten paid, or whatever else, blows money and doing whatever, living their best life. And, there's other individuals spending 2, 3, 4, 5 years of their life in jail, prison, not jail, prison. And again, it's a whole different experience. And we sit here and say, oh, well, we figured out that they weren't guilty and we fixed it. No, the fuck you didn't. And you can say, oh, it doesn't happen all the time. One is one time too many, but it happens enough. And again, from false fucking accusations. And again, like I say, it's crazy. But there's definitely a lot more power for one group than the other. But I think it's viewed, as the other way around. Perspective is a motherfucker. So. Yeah, I mean, this is where I'm at. Oh, snap, Miss Kegris, I appreciate the love. I just saw the little thing. I'm just like when it started getting around this time, y'all. I started tapping, and I ain't gonna lie. I'm supposed to be doing this thing in the morning, like early, and so I'm fat, so I gotta lose this weight. Like I've gotten disgusted. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten disgusted with myself, and I probably actually over the last couple of weeks I've lost about maybe 2 to 3 weeks. I would say 10 to 11 pounds. But yeah, I just you just look in the mirror, you're just like, shame on you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, who are you? I don't even know you anymore. You let the lockdown make a scumbag out of you. And so, obviously, that means there was a severe lack of discipline in my behaviors that allowed me to get that way. So the only way to fix that is Oh, shit. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Miss Jessera. We'll definitely pray for her. We'll definitely, for those who may not be praying people, keep Miss Jessera's daughter in your thoughts. And, wait. So will that be your first grandbaby? Or you already got grandkids? But definitely, we'll definitely keep her in our thoughts, though. Oh, keep out the honey bun, OG honey bun. Hey man, look, Jack, I motherfucking me. Order shall prevail. Is that Always Sunny? What was the one off of? Shit, I can't remember. Oh, that shit. That's what it is. I done cut the dilly dally off. So I don't have the phone system on. I'm about to wrap it up here in a second. I'm not gonna lie, cause I'm about to fall asleep on y'all. And I don't want to be that guy. But yeah, I made a fat ass out of myself, so definitely got to tighten up now. But yeah, I looked at myself in the mirror the other day, and I was just disgusted. And then I thought about Miss Jessera, and I said, I can't perform a shirtless den stream in these conditions. So I gotta put in the work, get it back right. But nah, I'll post it to the side, man. I appreciate y'all. I do thank y'all. If you are a channel member and you hadn't seen the little post, like I say, with the little behind the scenes video, check it out. Like I say, just a little appreciation. Thank y'all. Or if you're in the Patreon, I posted it there also. But with that being said, man, it's about that time. Oh yeah. See, I gotta y'all gotta remind me. Like everything else will be on time, because the thing with the bot, what I've realized is that I can't start the bot early. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. So I have to actually start the stream, and once go live, then start it. Then it'll actually connect and act right. But sometimes I get the stream going, and then I fucking I forget about it. So. But yeah, man, like I say, just I appreciate y'all. I really do. And you know what I'm saying? So excited more. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Man, ain't no oil. I ain't fucking no oil. I ain't got no lean or nothing in a long ass time. It's been a very, very long time since I'm fucking some oil. But like I say, just right now, just cooling, and I'm gonna get ready to lay it down. But oh yeah, that's the thing. That's a great idea. But yeah, man, so I say just thank y'all for being a part of this community. If you fuck with the sauce too, thank you for that. And tomorrow, 9:00. Let's see. Should I tell y'all tomorrow's topic? Let me see. Let me see if it's, because I forgot what it is. Interesting. I ain't gonna tell you. I'll put it up a few hours early tomorrow though. All right. So. Okay. Okay. All right. So you sound like an expert. It's gonna be a more opinionated topic. So I think it'll no research necessary. So. But with that being said, I salute all y'all. I thank all of y'all. We'll probably start in the Discord shortly after. I'll probably be in there in like 5-10 minutes, depending on how the conversation's rolling. But meet me there. Don't beat me. I put the link in the chat after the stream for the Discord, so you can check that out. But Ed Honcho HTX on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is Den Show Live. Make sure you're following. All the links you need are in the description. Yeah. With that being said, Y'all ain't got to go home. Like I said, I'm inviting y'all to the Discord. I'll put the link in there shortly. But y'all got to get the fuck up out of here, because I'm out. I think I'm out now. There we go. This outro is just for the marquee. Where the fuck you may be probably hiding from sunlight or putting aloe vera on his rooms because he's stepping in the sun. The sun and light skinned niggas don't mix. So this is the marquee certified outro. Alright, I'll catch y'all in the Discord.